Last time, we explored fears of technology, isolation, and unseen presences. Tonight, we dig deeper into the uncanny, the familiar made horrifying. These stories twist everyday situations into waking nightmares, proving that sometimes the scariest things are the ones hiding in plain sight. Dim the lights, check your doors, and prepare for 3 more tales that will crawl under your skin. I work night shift security for a small, private school. It's usually dead quiet, just the hum of the fluorescent lights and the occasional rustle of raccoons in the dumpster. My routine is set: patrol the buildings, check the gates, and every hour, walk the perimeter of the playground. This playground is ancient. Rusted swings, a chipped plastic slide, and a wooden fort that looks like it's been there since the 70s. It's surrounded by a tall chain-link fence, locked up tight every night. Nothing ever happens there. Until last Thursday, I was doing my 2 a.m. round. As I approached the playground, I heard it, a faint rhythmic squeak, squeak, squeak. It was the sound of a swing. My flashlight beam cut through the darkness, landing on the swing set. One of the swings, a faded red plastic seat, was moving back and forth, steadily, but there was no wind. The other swings were perfectly still. I watched it for a long minute. It kept moving like someone was gently pushing it. I took a photo for my report and moved on. The next night, same thing. 2 a.m. The squeak, squeak, squeak again. The same red swing. This time, I walked right up to the fence. The swing was empty, just swaying gently. As I got closer, I saw something carved into the wooden support beam. It was crude, scratched in with something sharp. 3 words. Where is she? I felt a chill that had nothing to do with the night air. I called my supervisor. He laughed it off and told me to forget about it. But the next night, the swing wasn't just swaying. It was twisting, slowly, like a person was turning in circles on it. And then I heard the sound that truly broke me. A child's giggle, high-pitched, faint, and it was coming from inside the dark wooden fort. I shone my flashlight directly into the fort's entrance. Nothing, just shadows. But the giggle came again, closer this time, echoing off the wood. And then a small, pale hand reached out from the darkest corner of the fort and slowly, deliberately pulled the door shut. The red swing stopped moving. Everything went utterly silent. I ran. I haven't been back to the playground since. I call my rounds in from inside the main building now. But sometimes, when the wind blows just right, I swear I can still hear that faint squeaking carried on the breeze. I live in an old apartment building where the pipes clank, and you often catch a glimpse of something moving in your peripheral vision. My bathroom mirror is huge. It covers almost the entire wall above the sink. The only problem is the frame is loose on the left side. It started subtly. I'd be brushing my teeth, and in the reflection, I'd see a flicker. Like the mirror wasn't just reflecting my bathroom, but something else for a split second. A darker room, a different angle. Then one morning I was shaving. I looked in the mirror and my reflection looked back. But my reflection's eyes, they weren't mine. They were wider, darker, and they were staring over my shoulder at something behind me that I couldn't see. I whipped around. Nothing. I looked back at the mirror. My reflection was normal again. It kept happening. Each time, the reflection's eyes would be a little more intense, a little more focused on whatever was behind me, and slowly a faint almost imperceptible smile would spread across its face. My face! I got so paranoid that I started keeping my back to the wall when I was in the bathroom. I even hung a small towel over the mirror. One night, I woke up to a scratching sound. It was coming from the bathroom. I held my breath. Then, a low, wet whisper, "Let me see." I heard the towel being pulled from the mirror. A soft thump as it hit the floor. Then, a faint, frantic tapping against the glass. It wasn't my reflection. It was something else. Trapped inside the mirror. Tapping. I stayed in bed until the sun came up. When I finally dared to enter the bathroom, the towel was on the floor. The mirror was perfectly clean. But in the bottom left corner, where the frame was loose, I saw it. A small, perfectly round hole had been drilled straight through the glass. And inside that hole, embedded in the shattered edges, was a single, tiny, yellowed fingernail. My grandparents left me their old farmhouse after they passed. The house has a lot of quirks, but the strangest was the guest room. My grandmother always called it Granny's room. It was always kept spotless, the bed made, fresh flowers by the window. Even after Granny passed years ago, the room was never used. My grandmother just insisted it stay ready, just in case. When I moved in, I decided to finally turn it into a proper spare room. But every time I try to move Granny's old rocking chair out, it would feel impossibly heavy. I started to feel watched. Not menacingly, but with a quiet, persistent presence. One evening, I was cooking dinner when I heard the distinct sound of the rocking chair moving rapidly. Creak, 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 creak. Like someone was rocking violently. I walked to the guest room door. The chair was empty, still swaying. And on the old wooden dresser, a single antique silver locket was lying open. Inside, there was a faded photo of a woman I didn't recognize. She was sitting in that very rocking chair, holding a kitchen knife. I looked in the mirror above the dresser, and for a split second, I didn't see my own face. I saw her. She was standing right behind me, her hand resting on my shoulder. I felt a sudden, freezing cold pressure on my skin. I didn't scream. I just backed out of the room and shut the door. I don't go into that room anymore. I keep the door locked. But every morning when I pass by, I find a single, fresh flower lying on the floor in front of the door. And every night, I hear the chair. Creak, creak, creak. She's still there. And she's waiting. 3 stories. 3 reasons to keep the lights on. If you've ever had something unexplainable happen in your home, tell me in the comments. Until next time, try to get some sleep. If you can.